Yeah, when I got the ball, I didn't really realize what the time was. Ty said something. I looked up, and it was like 2 seconds on the clock, so I just knew I had to get something off. So I just tried to create a little bit of space and put it up. I was just in the moment, like it was just. I was just kind of shocked a little bit. I was just happy the ball went in. Kind of focused on the next thing. Yeah, I mean, basketball's a game of many mistakes, so it's about being neutral and not being high or low based off good or bad plays. So just trying to move on and understand the next play is the most important. What did we change defensively? I'm going to keep that to myself. Yeah.
Drew, it seems like that block by Miles kind of got you going, got your first basket. How big was that in just the momentum of the game in the last couple minutes?
I honestly don't really remember it that well, but I knew the last 6 or 7 minutes was really tight. We needed every play, and the one where I kind of got that drive was like a transition kind of. They're trying to get us to the three, and I kind of found a gap. But yeah, big play for us on that defensive side of the ball. I think we rebounded well in the clutch, and I think we did a solid job getting stops.
When did you figure out or find out that you were going to have a change in assignment defensively, that you were going to start on Brunson in this one, and how did you react to that at the time, and what was the difference, going from guarding Brunson to guarding, Hart and DiVincenzo?
Yeah, I found out last night. My reaction was, I think it was fine. I mean, I think sometimes with good players like that, you need to switch it up and get them a different feel, a different type of defender on them. I think I did a solid job the first few games and contesting and being right there. And he was making a lot of tough shots. I think Aaron did an amazing job tonight, speeding him up at times, not fouling him, and just doing his job and being super competitive on that side of the floor. I mean, he's a tough player. He's going to make shots. You got to move on when he does that.
If you can compare the feelings given the playoff setting here, but your 3 last year in LA, similar spot to the one tonight. I mean, how similar were the feelings after making a shot like that in those moments?
This one's a lot nicer, bigger game, more at stake. Both late game winning shots is fun,
And did you practice deep threes?
I do, but I can't say that was a product of just practicing deep threes. I was just in the moment type of thing, but I definitely try to space a little bit deeper on the line so you can kind of work a longer closeout for sure.
And did you fumble it a little bit? It looked like you didn't actually get it cleanly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just getting downhill, being aggressive, being who I am.
Was that a team concept that changed anything for you, or was it just you in your own head having to change the way you were playing?
Both.
Just take us through the play with Drew, the three-pointer. I mean, just obviously you got the ball up top, you get a blitz, clock's running down. Just what are you thinking through that whole sequence?
I saw me and Hartenstein one-on-one in top, so I just thought, get to my shot. But I heard Tibbs yelling to double, and I probably held the ball a little too long. I should have, been more aggressive to attack the blitz. But I put Drew in kind of a bad situation, and he just made an unbelievable shot, big shot. Was really. Just really stepped up to the moment when we needed him the most, and really good to see.
Just as a group, you guys were operating on a pretty high wire there for that entire fourth quarter. Tough, close the entire time. Just what's to say about this group, the way they were able to just battle it out? What did you like about what you guys were able to do in that stretch?
Man, just digging in, understanding our backs are against the wall. We're here at home. Obviously, they handled business. We get both at home, and everybody knows what it looks like when you go down 3-0. So, we had to come out, play desperate, play hard, and the third quarter, it got us again. We've really been poor in these third quarters all series. So, we just didn't let that deter us and responded the right way in the fourth, which was big from everybody.
Tyrese, I see you limping along here. What is it? Your foot, your ankle, another body part?
It was my ankle. I rolled my ankle on that steal with the layup in the fourth, and I landed on my tailbone there on that and one. So just overall body right now. I'm hurting, but they got guys hurting too, so we got to understand that everybody's hurting right now, so thank God we got a day in between, and I'm young, and, I'll heal up and be ready to go on Sunday.
Well, what have you learned about the playoffs through this stretch and about yourself through this period of time?
I would just say more than anything, it's about just getting to the next play, and that's, responding to something good or something bad, honestly. I think, down there in stretch, I turned the ball over. I had to get to the next play to get back and, try to slow down Josh so Miles could get that block. just figuring out what you can do to, get to the next play, because every possession matters, and you're just trying to win one possession at a time. So I feel like it's just more heightened in the playoffs. Just you pay more attention to it, and there's already been certain plays in the playoffs that run in my head on repeat that I just consistently think about, where it doesn't really work like that in the regular season. You just kind of move on, but so that's a little different in the playoffs.
Before the game, Coach Carlisle talked a lot about the Knicks' toughness and how tough they are. It made me wonder if he challenged you guys a little bit more before this game than usual, just to match their toughness.
For sure. I think that's been the emphasis really all series for us. Like we've talked about that all series. How can we, match that energy? Because we're going to have to if we want a chance to win. And honestly, we really didn't do that in the first two games. I feel like we did in the first half for two games, and then the second half of both games we got outworked. And so we just had to figure out how we were going to respond. I thought Miles was great at setting the tone. I thought Double A was amazing on Brunson. Obviously, he's a tough cover for anybody, but just, we're trying to give him as many different looks as we can, show him different bodies. I thought those guys set the tone for us to, defensively. And, still they got, 10 offensive rebounds. But we out-rebounded them tonight, and I doubt that's happened to them all playoffs, really. So, I think that's where it starts. But, just get into the next possession, get into the next play, because they got a lot of guys who just play really hard.
Seeing how Brunson has been playing in the playoffs, and especially early in this series, does that fire your competitive juices up, knowing that this is, the all-star versus all-star type situation? I
don't think it's as much about me versus him as much as it is our teams versus each other. It's not about that. It's just doing what you have to do to win. He's doing what he has to do for his team to win games, and I got to do that as well to give my team the best chance to win. So it's less about the one-on-one matchup and who's scoring or who's doing what. That's for y'all to talk about. We're just trying to win games.
Ty, you guys have been great at home throughout the playoffs. Can you kind of just speak to the atmosphere throughout these playoffs at home and what that's meant to you guys as a team?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable in here. It's been unbelievable, the energy. I think that our fans have just been itching for playoff basketball again, just like us, and so I think that's the excitement in our city, and that's why everybody's so excited. And obviously there's just a lot of energy around basketball in Indiana right now, especially with the Fever and us. So it's really cool to see the energy in the building, every game, and they really willed us to a win tonight, to be honest. So we're just gonna keep riding that train, and hopefully they keep coming, supporting us, and we just keep performing the way we're able to.
You guys have talked a lot, as long as he's been here, about the toughness that Drew has, basically, and his ability to kind of move on from stuff. I guess just how much does what he did there speak to that? The fact that he had some open shots that he missed. He's obviously been bounced around on defense. There's, he's dealt with some tough assignments to step up in that position and hit that shot. How much does that kind of add to what you already have to say about him?
Yeah, just digging in. I think as a group we understand that how deep we are as a team. It's going to be somebody else's night really every night, and just understanding that it's not about who scores this many points, who does what. We just got a lot of unselfish dudes that are prepared for the moment whenever that is, and I think that was just that was the biggest thing. Is obviously he missed a couple shots, but he was ready when his time was called. I'm just excited for him because after the Bucks game, was that game 3? He was like, my main playoff moment is going to be offensive rebounds. So I'm glad this is probably his biggest moment now. So I'm excited for him.
Tyrese, what's different about your mental approach in the playoffs compared to the regular season?
I wouldn't say anything. I would say just like the amount of attention to detail with like film study. Like in the regular season, it's a little different. I'm watching film after every game, but it's not as deep dive as it is right now. Seeing the defensive adjustments and all that stuff. Like every day, I'm watching film with Drew every day, watching film with IY and Rick, and just everybody just diving in. Really just picking the game apart as much as I can to see where I can get better. Just the attention to detail, I think, is the biggest thing with the approach. And honestly, I got 26 shots, by most shots I've shot in a very long time, maybe ever. But I think, just whatever's needed to win games, and that's kind of how I'm approaching these games right now, especially after a rough game 1. How can I impact the game? And some games it's going to be scoring, some games it's going to be facilitating, some games it's going to be both. But whatever I got to do to win is what I want to do.
You mentioned Miles' block. How big of a moment was that just down the final stretch there? It led to Andrew's first bucket and then eventually his three. Did you feel like that was kind of a momentum shifter?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think there are certain plays that happen over the course of, a series that in a course of a game that can really change things. I think that's what they do so well is those offensive rebound kickouts are really like momentum changing, like especially when you're in the Garden, like an offensive rebound kickout three is like a windmill dunk. When you play the Knicks, so I think there's certain plays that can sway momentum, and I think that, big blocks like that, obviously, like, transition threes or just moments that, lead to timeouts or just things like that are definitely things that are going to stick out. And I think that we're going to remember that play because I feel like that changed the game. Was a game-changing moment, and I think it just speaks to, how hard he played and the tone he set today.
Well, I mean, just really proud of our guys. I mean, they're going against a highly experienced, very, very tough-minded team that is very motivated. And so, they put us in a big bind in the second half. Was really proud of the way our guys hung in, kept fighting, stayed the course, kept their emotions in check, and then a couple of plays at the end. I mean, the Siakam chase down block, the Nembhard shot. There's just a lot of things to be proud of, but it's only one game, and so we're going to have to circle the wagons very quickly and get ready for Sunday afternoon.
I'll just start with Drew. And obviously, he just missed a couple of those, and he had a layup early that. But I mean, just how big of a shot at that in that moment when the game's breaking down.
He's one of our toughest guys, mentally and physically, and he's really gained a love for these types of moments and playing in this kind of stage, this kind of level of competition. So, the fact that we kept going back and getting the ball was the thing. And the clock was down, and sometimes in those situations it frees you up even more. And he just laced it.
Rick, what went into the decision to play Neesmith on Brunson as opposed to Andrew?
Well, I mean, we saw in the Milwaukee series that, every game is different. Every game is going to have different things going on. We can't give New York just a recipe of the same thing over and over again. They're going to adjust. Brunson's too great a player. So, the idea was just change the matchup, get a little more size. And Aaron did as good a job, I think, as you can possibly do. It's just, Brunson's so good. I mean, he's the best scorer in the playoffs, I believe. And so, and we had good, timely help tonight too. So, so that helped. And, look, game 4 could look completely different.
Rick, many questions for you and Ty about Tyrese after game 1. To have the last 2 games be as excellent for him as they have been, what to you keyed his turnaround in this series?
He adapts quickly. For a first-timer in the playoffs, he's had to do some pretty significant adjusting in both series. Sometimes it's, you can score, but there's a need to get other guys involved. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes he knows we need his scoring. So he got banged up tonight. The hope is he's going to be okay for Sunday. I think it's going to be hard to keep him out of the game. But his aggression was very important in this game. And look, whether he's scoring a lot of points or not, his aggression is going to be important in every game in this series.
Speaking about his other stuff, his passing, he has the kick-ahead pass there to Pascal with about a minute and a half left. Just the trust that he shows in Pascal in that moment to kick it ahead and give you guys that bucket. Yeah,
it was one of the things that we saw in him the first night he played here back in January of 22. He he has a natural confidence in the guys that are on the floor with him, and the way he delivers the ball, brings confidence to the players he's playing with. So, look, Pascal, he's been here before. He's been in games like this. He didn't have his best game, but he made some huge plays that were extremely important. His job at the free throw line tonight was key. The chase down block, there were a lot of timely plays. So, we'll circle the wagons and get ready for Sunday.
Which they started big, but maybe played one big more than they played two. Did you have a message to your guys to attack the offensive glass, or do you think that they just saw the opportunities down the stretch there?
Each game's going to look different. I just, there could be some significant optical adjustments in the next game, at the very beginning. But at this time of the year, and as you get 4 games into a series, I mean, the number of surprises decreases, and it's about will and guts, and they played with a lot of will and a lot of guts tonight, but our guys did too.
Speaking about will and guts, what about Aaron's temperament allows him?
I don't even think that microphone's on.
Speaking to his will and guts, just his temperament, what allows him to,
Who?
Aaron Nesmith, to handle tough defense times. He had Chris Middleton in that last series. He's got Brunson tonight, just to handle the fact that you got to be physical, and yeah, they might make some shots, but I got to keep bringing it all night long.
Look, in the NBA playoffs, especially when you get to the conference semifinals and you're in the second round, each game you're going to have a job to do, and tonight the challenge for him at the beginning was to do his best on Jalen Brunson, and he did some good things, and we stayed with that for a significant portion of the game. Sunday we'll see what Sunday brings.
Miles, obviously, another guy that didn't have a great game, too. Game 3, obviously, a lot more productive on offense, 10 rebounds. Seemed like I think he also had another chase down.
He had a very productive game because he rebounded the ball. He made timely shots. He made a really important pass late that led to a basket that I think gave us the lead at one point. We just got to be careful about getting all hung up on points. It's just not. There's so many defining plays in a playoff game that have nothing to do with scoring. I mean, there have already been more than a handful of loose ball plays, that have defined each of the 3 games. So, look, the last game, our starters had a rough one and our bench played great. Tonight it was the other way around. Whatever happens, you got to wipe it clean, and the next game is a completely new palette, and you've just got to get ready to compete when that time comes.